It's an extraordinary opera, Die Walküre.
I mean, it's a work of utter genius. It's a visceral thing.
I get goosebumps when I think of it every time because it's so rich.
I think it can be life-changing.
And that's what makes The Ring a work for all time.
This is Wagner. This is a deep, deep belief that theatre can change the world.
We did it once when instead of doing this, you actually did the opposite, which is
In Walküre, we land slam bang on the earth. In the very first scene, we're in a kind of domestic situation.
The character of Sieglinde is in a horrible marriage with a horrible brute who has no respect for her at all. And her life has little hope, little meaning, and no pleasure until she meets a stranger who's come into her house.
Siegmund, he's arrived there running away from relatives of the guy who owns the house. So it's not gone well, really. He meets Hunding, the chap who owns the house, and his wife, Sieglinde. There's a connection that both Siegmund and Sieglinde have with each other, and they can't explain it yet.
Then in the second act, Wotan is up in his loft, looking down on the world.
It's not easy to be Wotan, I think you could say. Wotan loves women very much. And that leads him also into problem, of course. He has a wonderful daughter, Brünnhilde.
Fricka is not quite sure who the mother is. But he's certainly been very busy, and certainly Fricka is very angry and upset about this, justifiably being his wife. There are no children between Fricka and Wotan, and there's a jealousy, especially towards Brünnhilde.
Brünnhilde is the main Valkyrie, and everybody knows, and that's sort of taken for granted, that she is the favorite daughter.
Brünnhilde has been instructed by Wotan to protect Siegmund. I come in on the scene and say, no, Brünnhilde, that wretch, she cannot protect him, and what's more, Siegmund has to die.
She sees Sieglinde and Siegmund falling in love, and she's deeply touched and moved by this. She decides to save Siegmund from death. Wotan sees what's happening, and she awaits her punishment, because all we know in this world of the gods is that if you break a rule, you will get punished.
I've always thought, conducting Wagner, that each act is an event in itself. Each of the introductions to the three acts are tempests in their own right that go on to somehow prepare us for the tempest that is going on within each character. Its melodies are just undeniably fascinating. They penetrate us somehow. Also, the depth of human understanding, because he's dealing with love in this opera, it's all so human.
You're torn between the kind of masculine and the feminine. Here you find empathy and sympathy. There you find the opposite, almost.
I've worked with Keith Warner for many, many years.
Keith understands intrinsically what's going on in the score. And Tony intrinsically understands how theatre works.
Don't breathe too early, because we want the suspense of
They both have a complete innate understanding of what each other brings to the table at any given moment. So watch and learn.
It's a magical kingdom you're walking into. It's something that is of such immensity and complexity, but it is totally and utterly immediate in its power to enchant you.
It can't fail to stir the emotion. You can't come and sit there and go, what was that? That's not going to happen.
It's like this mountain that you have to climb, step by step. If you think that you're going to climb the mountain in one step, you're dead.
You open your minds, you open your senses, and then it just flows. And when Wagner music flows, it's very hard to beat it.